Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
All right, welcome everyone. My name is Barry Overton, coming to you from Denver, Colorado today. Really excited to share this Agent Power Huddle Mindset Monday. This is something, an area in regards to success and growth. It's always been really the foundation, I think, to anyone that's successful is, again, having, this level of belief that really is just unmatched by others. And one of my mentors once told me, someone asked him, how have you been able to achieve the success in life that you have? And he says, because I believe bigger than most people. And it resonated with me. I understood what he meant by that. And I'm going to give you 10 different exercises, 10 steps in your life to help you to build and create belief, the belief that other people will recognize and be in awe of. And this is something that I've taken this practice for many years, and I've seen the results of it. But before I jump into that, I want to kind of just set the stage in regards to how important it is, when we have our dreams and we have our goals and the hopes that we have for our lives, how important it is to have this foundation of belief that allows us to be able to achieve those things. See, there's about 150 or so years ago, there was a man that was sitting in a room with a few friends, and he said, I want to be able to talk to people that aren't here. And by making that statement, you can imagine the looks on the people's faces and the thoughts probably of what they were thinking of him and saying, man, has he gone mad? Is he crazy? He wants to talk to people that are not here. And that man was Alexander Graham Bell. And 148 years ago, he created the telephone. And what's important about that is, even though in a time when that would have been unimaginable to think about talking to people on other sides of the country, other sides of the world, he still had this unwavering belief in the thing that he wanted to be able to create. Now, how does that impact us? Because when you think about it from a standpoint of that was 148 years ago, we got this amazing invention of the telephone. But what if he didn't have unwavering belief? What if he listened to the naysayers that told him, oh, you're out of your mind, that'll never happen? What if he gave up on this dream, on this idea, and never created the telephone? Well, what I did is I pulled up just some of the inventions that have been created that without the telephone, these inventions would not have been created. And when you think about, obviously, wireless communication, this thing right here that we all depend on, likely would not have been created without the telephone. The internet, voice over internet protocol, fax machines, answering machines and voicemails, modems, the whole telecommunication infrastructure, TVs, television itself, interactive voice response systems, and even medical devices and educational tools for the deaf. None of those things would have been created without first the telephone being created. So that shows you how powerful it is that someone had this belief that when no one else could believe in what he was saying, he continued to pursue it. And today it continues to impact us. And in the future, I guarantee you, the way we are inventing and developing at such a fast pace now, many of those things, the products, the services that we will see in the future are all because of Alexander Graham Bell having a vision and having this belief, this conviction behind his belief that would not allow him to be wavered on what it was that he was going to create. So what I want to do is I'm going to share with you these 10 steps to working your belief and to developing your belief. I want you to, as we start to talk about this, I want you to think about your goals that you have in life, the dream, more importantly, the dreams that you probably stopped dreaming about. And ask yourself as we go through this, why did you stop dreaming about it? And if one of these 10 can help you to get back into a place of pursuing that dream, I certainly say go do it, because what is that thing that's inside of you that was given only to you? I want you to think about something. We all have fingerprints. We all have our own unique fingerprints. I was a police officer for 26 years. I understand the power of fingerprints in identification. Also understand the power of DNA in identification. We all have our own individual DNA makeup that's unique to us. Well, guess what? We all have our own dreams, our own goals that were specifically given to us. And if we don't act on them, Les Brown, one of my mentors, has often said some of the greatest inventors went to the grave with their inventions and they were never created. And so it's almost our disservice to society, that we may be doing. There's a quote that says, God's gift to us was life, but our gift back to God is what we do with it, the purpose that we serve while we're here. And many times we think, again, Alexander Graham Bell made this telephone. He could have never imagined where we would be in the inventions that it led to over 150 years ago as he was creating it. So understanding that we all have purpose and living in that purpose. So we're going to talk about these 10 steps. And I want you to think about it from a standpoint of exercises. When you go to the gym, you're going to the gym for the purposes of, in many cases, to maybe lose weight, but also to get stronger. I think when you're lifting weights, the intention is that you will get stronger. Now, you cannot go to the gym one time and expect that you're going to get sustainable strength over many years. It's a routine. And what I'm going to share with you in regards to these exercises is also a routine. It's something that becomes a part of daily life. It becomes a part of your lifestyle. Just like, those people that work out on a daily basis, they eat, properly. They're watching what they're eating. They're creating a system for themselves or a routine for themselves of having a better health and lifestyle, for themselves. But they don't do it one time. They're consistent with it. So as I go through these, understand this is not something that you do once. This is something that becomes part of a lifestyle for you. So the first step is simply just embracing self-awareness. And this is understanding and knowing your gifts and talents. And a lot of times I think when I ask people, I'll often ask people, what are your gifts? And people are perplexed because they haven't, number one, embraced it, or they haven't even become aware of what their gifts and talents are. I can tell you, I was one of those people for 40 plus years. I was one of those people. I can tell you, I spent 26 years in law enforcement. I was able to retire 10 years early because I eventually started to realize what those gifts and talents were. And from the time that I was in my, from 18 into my early 20s and all throughout the course of life, people would tell me, man, you have a voice for radio. And for me, what I realized is this was God speaking to me and saying, you have a voice. You have a voice. Constantly, he was sending messengers to me that were saying, you have a voice. Now, that voice, whether it's for radio or podcast or whatever the case, I can tell you I've done radio, I've done podcasts, but it's only been within the last 10 years. It took me almost 20 years of hearing that to have an aha moment. But the message that came to me was the voice. I have a voice. I have a message that I need to be able to deliver to other people. And that's why we're here today, because this is a part of me working in my purpose that I was given and doing it with conviction behind it, because I know that someone, maybe not everyone, is going to resonate with the message, but someone will be touched and it'll impact them. And that's all I'm looking to find those people that need the message and receive it to be able to actually experience something new and different in their lives. So being able to embrace your gifts, your talents, finding out what those things are. If you don't know what there are, it may be one of those things of needing to sit in a quiet place and really give thought to that. One of the things I will tell you is messengers are always coming to you to deliver, tell you what you're good at. And so think about those things that people tell you, man, you're so good at, IT related things, or you're so good as a salesperson, whatever the case may be, and find what those gifts and talents are for you. The next one, number 2, is setting clear goals for yourself. I think you think about if you're doing a GPS, you're traveling from Denver to Florida, to Miami, let's say. We got EXPCon coming up. Well, if you're getting in the car, you're setting a plan for yourself. You're setting a goal to get to Miami in a certain amount of time. You're looking to take the most direct route, and you're looking to be able to do it and have the proper coordinates all along the way. So you're able to put that into a GPS system that's going to direct you. Well, a lot of times, whether we're setting resolutions, whether we're setting goals, we are not setting them clear enough where it becomes easy for us to be able to achieve those things. So setting clear goals for yourself and defining the things that you want and the things that you want to achieve, being able to break them down and into small, manageable pieces so that you can eventually arrive to the goal. Because when you say that you're going to drive from Denver to Miami, that's a haul. That's maybe 36, 40 plus hours of driving. Well, you're going to break that down. Maybe your first day, you just want to get to St. Louis. And the next day, you want to get to Atlanta. So you're going to be able to break those things down. The same thing with your goals in regards to how you're going to achieve them. The number 3, visualizing your success. I think this is one of the most important areas of being able to start this belief aspect of things, is the things that you see around you. We talk about vision boards. I can tell you my office is a vision environment. Everything around me is positive. Everything around me is about what my future entails and where my purpose is. So whether it's all the books that are over here, whether it's the quotes that are on the wall, it all serves a purpose for me and helps me to continue to visualize. And when I'm on walks or when I'm hiking or whatever the case may be, I am taking time, almost a meditation in movement to be able to visualize next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, in regards to where I want to be. So being able to visualize the success that you want in life. Positive affirmations is number 4. This is something that for me has always been, once I started my personal development journey, roughly about 15 years ago, and I understood the power of positive affirmations and the things that I speak. Again, one thing about, when you're speaking, your subconscious mind is taking that in. It's almost like you're recycling what the thoughts are already in your mind. So think about this. If you are around people that are speaking negative and then you start to speak negative about yourself, you are beating down the ability to believe in your ability to be able to do anything that you want to set your mind to. But when you're speaking positive about yourself and you're speaking as the scripture says, speak those things that be not as though they were. Speak the things that you want. Speak the things that you expect to have as though you already have them. Speak from a place of gratitude. We're going to talk about gratitude here in a minute, but I want you to think of speaking from a place of gratitude, being grateful for things that you know are coming. When your subconscious mind hears that, it starts to, recalibrate in regards to the thinking to help you achieve those things that you're trying to get. I could go a whole 30 minutes just on the subconscious mind itself and how powerful that is. But the positive affirmations is something that's going to be very important to your success. And then surround yourself with positivity. So that's positive people. They say you are the sum total of the 5 people that you hang around. And that was one of the things for me as a police officer, 26 years of doing that. I always tell people, they don't call the police when things are good in their life. They call when they're the worst. They call when they're in a very bad situation. And we are expected to go in and save the day, resolve the issue. So as a police officer, you are constantly dealing with negative situations. And I can tell you from experience, you become very jaded. You can have positive things that pop up in your life, but you will see the negative. You will find the negative in those things when you're living from a jaded mindset. And that was me. So my journey for personal development and changing this thinking happened 15 years ago. And within 5 years, there was a massive transformation in who I was. And how I gauged that is because I could see that the people that I was hanging around 5 years ago that thought negative like me, I could no longer be in a room with them and dealing with that negativity. It physically, there was something that came over me when dealing with negative thoughts. And it was because I had changed the people that I was surrounding myself with. And the people that I was surrounding myself with only had positive words and positive conversations. And it really just changed my development in that area as well. So constantly, number 6, constantly learning, finding different areas. So you find out, where your gifts and talents are. Maybe you need to fine tune those talents. Where there's someone out there, whether they're published, whether they're on YouTube, whether they're next door to you, that's going to be able to help you, that's going to be a mentor for you. There's going to be books that you can read that are going to help you. Whether there's, goals that you're trying to achieve, you find people that have achieved similar goals and learn what the steps were that they did. I can tell you, I am constantly in a state of learning. Even though here it is, I'm a mentor and I'm a coach and I'm a teacher, I'm also first a student because I want to continue to learn so that I can take what I learn and share it with others. So constantly be in a state of continuous learning. Okay, now number 7 is the one for these first 6 that I've given you. This is the barometer. This is the gauge that allows you to understand if you are truly starting to tap into your beliefs. And number 7 is taking action. So what I mean by that is I've seen people, they come to all the trainings. I've seen people that take all the notes. I've seen people that, they can regurgitate everything that I say. I see them putting the plan together. I see them doing all the things that they need to do in regards to building the belief. But then when it comes to taking action, they're in a pause mode. They're not moving forward. And so what this tells me is even though they're doing all the easy things, they're going to the classes, they're doing the training, they're doing all the things to prepare them for success, the one most important thing that they have to do is take the action of everything that they learn and put the plan in place, and they're not doing it. There's a level of belief that that they haven't tapped into yet. And so that is, like I said, the barometer. And again, there's fear that comes when you're doing something, what you should be doing. But when you're doing it for the first time, it's awkward. It's uncomfortable. And we have to be in a place of being able to face that uncomfortable moment to be able to push through it. Because see, spending some time doing things that are uncomfortable to achieve success will take you out of a place of living uncomfortable later in life, where, you're still trying to make ends meet, where, you're wondering how you're going to pay next month's bills and things of that nature. You got to be able to get out of your comfort zone and taking action to be able to live a more comfortable life for yourself in the future. So again, the taking action. So if you're doing those first 6, but then you don't see the success happening, you have to ask yourself, okay, where am I falling short? And I can tell you that there are levels of taking action, because there's levels to success. And I think, when you understand that, okay, I'm having success here, but not to the level that I would like to, you have to also go back through those first 6. Are there some areas where I need to fine tune, where I need to get better? And then all of a sudden, you continuing to take action and you see things continue to get better for you. And understanding also that when taking action, it's a huge step. You got to reward yourself. So number 8 is celebrate the wins, celebrate the small wins. And as far as, they say that there's wins and losses. I often say there's wins and lessons. I take those so-called losses, turn them into lessons. What can I learn from this thing that held me back from achieving today and make it better? So in many cases, I say, okay, I learned today that what I did there, that's not the proper way to do it. So we won't do that. By a process of elimination, I can take that out of the equation, and we tweak it, maybe we do something else. But along the way, if today I just have a small victory, celebrate that victory, recognize that you made one step forward towards that goal. You were one step closer than you were the day before. So being able to celebrate the small victories. And then number 9, overcoming the fear and doubt. So by doing, once again, these are in an order for a reason. By doing 1 through 8, the practice, the routine of 1 through 8 will eventually build where there is no fear or doubt, because the things that you're doing 1 through 8 become the norm. And once you're in the norm of doing something, there's no reason to fear it. Once you're in the norm of doing something, whether it's a win or a loss or a lesson, however you want to look at it, there is no doubt. The only doubt becomes, okay, can I go faster? I like to set, challenge myself of it. If I achieved a certain goal in a certain time, if I'm redoing that same goal, or if I'm pushing that goal up, can I do it faster? So giving yourself, number 9 as again, a barometer of making sure that you're doing 1 through 8. And then number 10, the final one, is practicing gratitude. And what I mean by this is being able to be grateful for where you're at in the process. So a lot of time, I can tell you, perfect example. I came to EXP 2.5 years ago. I told myself that in a year's time, I will have 100 agents a part of my organization. I want to be impacting 100 agents and helping them grow their business. 2.5 years later, I am at 94 agents. And that has fluctuated. We're in the 90s for the last month. But I could look at that 2 ways. I could be negative and say, man, I was supposed to do this in a year. And here it is, 2.5 years, and I'm still trying to get to 100 agents. Or I could be grateful for what it is that I've done. And I am grateful from a standpoint and have gratitude of realizing, man, 94 agents we've come together, and they believe in what we are creating with this organization. And they've raised their hand and say, I want to be a part of this. And I'm grateful for that. And I realize that it's not the goal that I set for myself, but there's still a level of gratitude of knowing, because 2.5 years ago, it was just me. 2.5 years ago, I was just, building my own business. And now I get to share my knowledge and expertise with other agents. So I'm grateful for that. So being grateful in those moments as you're growing. So when you have gratitude, it's going to open up the ability to receive more. And so I know that once we hit 100, whether it's this month, whether it's in the summer sometime, once we hit 100, the next 100 will be probably 2 times faster than the first 100. And it's because all along the way, we've learned. I celebrated the small wins, but I've taken the losses and turned them into lessons and learned better things of what we need to do to be able to grow. So with that, those are the 10 steps. Hopefully you got each one of those written down. Because this is 30 minutes, it's a fast, overview of that. I would love to have an hour to kind of discuss this, and really go in depth on those. But if any of you want to reach out to me and just have a conversation more around this, happy to do that. One of the things I want to leave you with is a story. This is a story for me of a man and his defining greatness, and how it came to be, how he was able to reach a certain level through loss, through struggle, through so many obstacles that were placed in his placed in front of him. And first, I'm gonna just kind of tell you his biography here. In 1832, he lost his job, that he had at that time. In that same year, he was also defeated for a state legislator in 1832. 1833, he had a failed business. He started a business and it failed within that same year. And in 1834, he had some promising things happen. He was elected to the state legislature. But in 1835, a year later, the love of his life, his sweetheart, the person he wanted to spend the rest of his life with, passed away suddenly. 1836, he had a nervous breakdown. In 1838, he was defeated for Speaker of the House. And then 1843, he was defeated for nomination for Congress. But to tell you what, all along the way, all of these defeats, he still believed along the way. In 1846, he was elected to Congress. And then 1848, he lost the renomination to Congress. But guess what? He still believed along the way. He was rejected for land officer in 1849. He was defeated for U.S. Senate in 1854, but he still believed. In 1856, he was defeated for the nomination for vice president. Again, he was defeated for U.S. Senate in 1858, but he still believed along the way. And in 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected the 16th president of the United States. The impact that Abraham Lincoln's presidency and the decisions that he made still resonate to this day. There were decisions, there were laws, there were things that were put in place that have impacted you and I today. It will impact our children, our grandchildren in years to come, because of a man that still believed through all the defeat, all the challenges, all the obstacles, he still believed along the way. So I leave you with this. You are going to go through challenges in your business. You're going to go through challenges in your relationships. You're going to go through challenges in life. Continue to believe. Belief is a muscle. Work it out every day. Work it with a level of conviction where your belief is unwavering, and leave an impact that the future is talking about you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are right at the 30-minute mark. I really appreciate your time today. Hopefully this was helpful for you. And like I said, feel free to reach out. My number, 303-668-5433. If anyone wants to reach out, has any questions. I'm in the Agent Collective's, the WhatsApp group, so you can definitely find me there. You guys have a great day.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.